Alright folks, today we're taking a look at a bunch of different antenna bases because everybody knows you've got to have a good mount to get your antenna onto your vehicle. And well, this is all about that base, antenna, all about that base, antenna. Alright, so as you can see, MFJ sent me quite a few different antenna mounting options. And there's a couple more that you can't see in the picture. One's on the truck and one's down here just because it didn't really fit. So we're going to go through each one, kind of look at the advantages and the drawbacks of each one. And maybe that'll help you make decisions on how you want to mount your antennas. If you would do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe. There is an Amazon link below for our affiliate store that does help us out a little bit, help support our school club. Doesn't cost you any more, just gives us a little bit. And there's a Patreon link below as well. So if you feel so inclined, all of that money goes directly to support our school radio club. So we appreciate that. I will go ahead and throw out there, Smokin' Ape was supposed to send me a clip of him dancing to All About That Bass, but, you know, doesn't look like they was up to the task. So sorry, man. All right, so let's get started here. All right, so we're just going to kind of go through these one at a time. This is the MFJ 336S. Okay, they call it the Goliath. It's got an SO239 mount, and it's got three, well, Goliath-sized magnets on it. This dude right here, and I've actually got another one. These things will stick, man. These things, you can put just about any antenna on this thing you want, and it's not going anywhere. So I will tell you though, it is kind of a pain in the butt to get off the car. So, you know, especially if it's like in the middle of the vehicle or something like that, and you need to try to get to it because it sticks that well, which is a good thing. But keep that in mind. If you have to go into a parking garage or something like that, it might take you a hot minute to get that off. It's got, I'm not sure what that material is, some kind of thin plastic vinyl or something to try to help keep it from scratching your vehicle. I will tell you from experience, these things eventually will, if you take it on and off with any kind of regularity, they eventually are going to put little scratches and whatnot on your vehicle. But you know, it mounts up there well. It's mounted, the SO239 mount is mounted with just these two little bolts there. So I guess you could combine this with something different if you changed antennas, like maybe like you need an NMO mount or something like that. You could probably do that. So and here in a little while, I'll take these things all out to the vehicle and I'll show you just how well these things stick and whatnot. I'm not a huge fan of mag mounts for a permanent install just because I like it to look a little bit cleaner than that. But this does work, especially if you're going to put some big old honking antenna. Yeah, that's another technical term, honking. Okay, so that's definitely an option there. And again, that's the MFJ 336S. I will go ahead and tell you, some of these dudes, I don't need all of these, obviously. So at some point in the near future, the ones that aren't getting used and whatnot, they're going to go for a giveaway. So make sure you subscribe so you can find out when that's going to be. All right, this is the MFJ 2822 trailer hitch mobile antenna mount. When I first took this thing out, I was like, man, this thing looks kind of dinky. I don't know about this. But really, it's made out of aluminum, or as our friends across the pond, like Callum, Lord Callum says, I think he says aluminum. It's got your SO239 mount in here, and it comes out here. This is a good option if you're going to use a ham stick. It just slides, like if this is your receiver hitch, it would slide in, and then you would slide your hitch pin through there. It's also got a lug for grounding and whatnot. The drawback to this one is obviously if this is hanging right off of your trailer hitch, and you've got, you know, a 4-foot ham stick or however long those things are coming off the back, you can't open your truck bed with that there. So keep that in mind. What I end up using this for is some of our POTA activations. since I changed trucks, I no longer have the same mounting system. So I'm working on for my ghetto mast. So I'm kind of working on that. In the meantime, I'm going to put this in the hitch receiver because the truck's always relatively close to the camper, obviously. And that way I can use my ham sticks there. Not the best solution for POTA, but it is potable. But I can see where this would be a great mount for, if you want to do some mobile HF and stuff like that. Just remember, it does get in the way of your truck bed, so you're going to have to keep that in mind. That's not going in the giveaway. I like that one. Well, I guess it might eventually once I get my other ghetto mast setup done. All right. And then we've got a few what they call hard mounts. Okay, let me see. I got that one. I got that one. I think that may be it. All right, so just so we understand, the difference between a hard mount and what we have seen so far is a hard mount, you're going to have to pop a hole in the truck or the car. This is designed, let me take one of these out. And it does come with a cap on it. Okay, this is designed so that you put a hole in there in the vehicle, you pop that through the hole, you come down, you seal it up, and this is how you have an antenna installed, because obviously this part is beneath the roof line. It'll come through your headliner area and stuff like that, so you would never see this. This is a really clean install if you do it right. If you do it wrong, it's a really messy install because you're going to have water coming in and whatnot, so you're going to want to make sure you seal that up well. Also, this is not for the faint of heart. I'm just going to tell you now, if you're trying to put this in the new car and your honey's like, I don't know about that. I'm just saying your resale value on your vehicle drops significantly once you start punching holes in it. So make sure it's a vehicle you're going to keep for a minute. But this is not a bad option at all. Like I said, my first truck that I installed ham radios in, my brother actually used to install antennas and radios for police departments, and so this is how we installed it. But he did that for a living, so it was clean. It looked good. This is the same thing. It's just got the NMO size base instead of the UHF because it's all about that base. You're not stuck in my head. But those are two different options there. Just like I said, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing. There are bits that you can buy that'll cut it out just right. I'll see if I can find a link to one. I have one out in the shed that I'm assuming is still out in the shed. I hadn't used it in a minute, but yeah. So you'll want to make sure you do that. Now you could use these also on something like a headache rack or something like that comes across the back of your vehicle. You could use these to come up through a plate or something like that and not necessarily have to put a hole in your vehicle, but it's still a hard mount. Then you just have to deal with how you're going to get this wire or coax rather into your vehicle. So, but that's a definite good option. Like I said, it came with the SO239 one came with a cap for weather. So if you want to take that antenna off or something like that, you can. The NMO, let me get this in here. Okay, the NMO does not, so just, granted it doesn't really have all the holes to get down in the way and whatnot. Okay, and so just so we know, this is the MFJ 341. Okay, you've got MFJ 341S and MFJ 341M. And this is what they call the Rough Rider. Yeah, it's the Rough Rider heavy duty base. Because if you're going to have a base, you might as well make it heavy duty. Alright, next up is another one that's a little bit different that I really wish I could have used, but I couldn't. Because I have a tonneau cover on my vehicle. And this is a truck bed corner mount. And basically this dude, if this is the truck bed here, you just screw that sucker in there, and it comes with some screws. You could drill them and pop them in there, or of course it looks like it comes with 3 screws and 4 holes, but whatever. And then you've got 3 different sizes here that you can put. So this goes here. I would think this inside one might be cutting it kind of close to getting to the actual bed rails or something like that. This is cut, like, obviously up. This is going to be up at the front of the vehicle, because you obviously can't screw that to the tailgate. I guess you could try, and that might be funny to watch you try to open it. But I really wish I could have used this. But that cover, even with that cover in the open position, it still covers where this would mount. So this one, I may actually consider looking at a way to, like, maybe mount this to the camper or something like that. And I may just throw this in the giveaway because it's a cool little mount, and I know there's a lot of folks that can use that. This is the MFJ 349 truck bed corner mount, and it says it's for 3/8-24 NMO and SO 239. So, you could throw your CB antenna on there if you wanted to also. So, all right. Next we have the MFJ 335BS and MFJ 335BMs. These are 5-inch magnets. They call them high flux magnet mounts, and they say max strength. And let me see if I can read the wordology here. It says it's Euro style with a black poly finish. Base weighs 2.5 pounds. Yeah, it's not a whole lot. Obviously, it comes with the no matter what MFJ 1-year warranty. So, I guess if you hit a buzzer driving down the road and it destroys something or whatnot, doesn't really say an maximum antenna length or wind load or anything like that. So, play at your own risk. Okay, but we've got the NMO mount, and then it's the same thing here with the SO239. This one does not come with a cap. I guess it comes with that little cap, but not the little fancy schmancy cap that you can put under there, and cap it off. They both come with, does it say how much coax is in here? 17 feet. Okay, so it comes with 17 feet of coax, and it's got your PL259 on the end of each one. So, again, they're mag mounts, which means, they're not necessarily going to make the cleanest install. You're going to have that antenna, that coax coming across somewhere. But they obviously have their uses. I mean, not everybody is in a position where they can stick an antenna into weird places and whatnot. This one would go well on a trunk, and you can kind of snake it right into the trunk too, so keep that in mind. But there are other options for trunk mounts too, and we're going to take a look at some of those. So, again, that's the NMO mount. That's the 335BM. And both of these dudes will probably go in the giveaway. I may end up putting one of these on Child Unit 74 Alpha's vehicle, although she's got one on the trunk right now. But then we have a smaller mag mount. This is the 333BS. It's a 3.5-inch diameter. Basically the same thing. Looks like it comes with the same 17 feet of coax. Yeah, 17 feet. It's got the PL259 connector on it. So if you're just putting a small antenna on there, you don't necessarily need a whole bunch of wind load protection or anything like that, or capacity, I should say. That may be a good option for you. We're going to take a look at what some of these dudes cost also here in a second. All right, this one is kind of nifty. Now, this is something that the Fang Gang, if you're one of the UV5 Army kind of people, this may be an option for you. There are a lot of folks out there that when you get into radio, the first thing that you have is, a little handy talkie, and a lot of them end up with a Baofeng, just because, well, $25, man, you got a radio. That's what I end up having to hand out like candy to my students, because, well, obviously I can't afford to buy them nicer ones, and they don't all have the ability to buy one, so we try to get them on the air. This is a window clip mount, and it comes with, let me see how long does it say how long this is? It does not. So we're going to see how long this little feed line is, and it's terminated with a BNC connector. Got a BNC connector here, which means if you're going to get like a, well, in fact, they sent me a little handy-talkie high gain antenna, but this has got an SMA connector on it. That's a BNC. So you're going to either make sure you buy an antenna with, that's my wife's call sign plate. Make sure you buy one with the correct antenna, or connector, I should say, and or buy an adapter. Alright, so let's measure and see how long this dude is. So if you'll pardon me a second, it's 9 feet. 9 feet and a wee little bit. So it's 9 feet and 1, 2, 3. 9 feet 4 inches is about what I measured it out at. I'm going to try sticking that on the window just to see. It's got down in here, I'm not sure if you can see that or not. Kind of can, right there, that little globule of stuff. That is there to keep it from scratching the window. And then this is rubberized or plasticized, or that's a fancy new word I made up. You know, it's coated to keep it from scratching the outside of the window. So it's going to go in the window like that. And this antenna is going to have a slightly pitched out orientation because, well, that's just the way it is. I'm anxious to see how that thing fits on the window there, though. But all right, next up, Nocturne Alley. The MFJ. This one looks like it's been through the ringer. MFJ 346T. Let's yank old dude open and see what we got. All right, so this looks like it'd be perfect for like the ham stick or something like that. This is, in fact, I wonder if that would be an option for me on the HF side. I can stick a ham stick up there. I need to bond the hood of my truck to the body still. If you watch that video of the mounting head, mounting the head of it yesterday, you'll notice this hot mess of noise and whatnot. So I need to do some searching and bonding and whatnot in there. But it's like a trunk mount, but obviously I'm going to use it as a hood mount instead because I have no trunk. And this slips under the trunk, or over the, I guess, the lip of the trunk. The trunk itself will slide right here. Jam that in there. And this dude's going to just sit there. And this has got those 3/8 inch threads, so you can stick a ham stick right in there. It's pretty sturdy, too. It's got a little plastic, yeah, it's plastic, cover there to keep it from scratching up. It doesn't cover the whole thing, though, so I'm betting you're still going to get a few scratches on that from it. But I guess you could stick something under there or whatnot, because I'm guessing it's got, I can't read anything on the bag because this bag, although I can see 17 coax, so I'm betting it's got that 17 feet of coax with it. 17 feet, you ought to be able to get this all the way up to the front of a vehicle. And that may or may not make it into the giveaway, because when I install an HF radio into the truck, I hadn't decided where I'm going with that yet. I'm working on maybe getting a ICOM 7100 or something like that. I like the idea of those detachable faces and whatnot. And well, since my honey kind of gave the seal of approval, she's like, yeah, you can get more radios in this truck. It's like, score, baby. I may keep that one for that. I don't know yet. So consider that a disclaimer. This may or may not make it to the giveaway. All right, and next one. Doing this as a giveaway is kind of against my nature, because as hams we tend to be pack rats. Ooh, this. Which one did this come from? Oh, it came from there. So that was in here. Let me get my all them parts back in there. All right, this one I really wanted to like this one. I did. It's a license plate mount. But unfortunately, when I mounted this, or I held it up, I didn't actually mount it up there because I could see right away this wasn't going to work for me. This goes on the license plate. Now, I guess if you have a front license plate pulley, you might can do it there. I wanted this mounted on the back of the vehicle, so if this is where my bumper is, this bad boy comes right up against it. You have plenty of screw holes to mount it into the existing holes, and then you've got a 3/8 inch lug or connector there, and then you've got another one where you can attach something else. I wanted to like this one. This would present some of the same issues as that hitch receiver mount, in that you won't be able to open and close your trunk, but I thought, what, this is pretty cool. I can leave that on there. I did worry somewhat about the sharp edges, but then I guess, if somebody walks too close to the back of my truck, it's guarded. But unfortunately, this is not deep enough for my truck. This right here was still at the bumper, that little step on the bumper there where the hitch ball would go and whatnot. So I couldn't use this one on my truck. So yeah, this, I guess on a car or something like that, maybe where you don't have a hitch kind of bumper like that or something, I could see where this would be a good one. But for a truck install, and we'll look and see. Let's see, this is going to be, it's about 7 inches, just a hair under 7 inches. Am I counting that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7 inches. So, yeah, that's just not quite deep enough there. When we do the giveaway, I think this is probably going to go in the giveaway. I may end up giving this to Brad over at Natural State Overland, because I can see him having use for this for his Overland 4-wheel drive vehicle. So that's a disclaimer. This may or may not, because this dude right here may go to Brad if he can use it. So, but if not, I'm just going to tell you, if it's not going to fit your vehicle for this one, then kind of let me know so we don't spend the money shipping it to you and then you can't use it. I'll throw it in a different giveaway or something and give it to somebody who can. So, all right, now we are going to step outside, and I'm going to show you the one that I actually ended up going with on the truck. All right, cliffhanger time. That was part 1. When I started making this, I did not anticipate this being a 2-part series, but Richard Stubbs over at MFJ just sent me that many antenna mount options, and I wanted to make sure that we did each one of them justice and looked at them, took a good look at their quality and whatnot. So on part 2 of this video, which will be linked somewhere, we're going to take a look at putting some of these testing them out, see what they look like on a vehicle, and we're going to also see which mount I ended up going with on that new truck of mine, that 2014 Ford F-250. So y'all make sure you catch part 2 also, and y'all take care, and we hope to see you on the air. 7-3.